Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Jess Hilarious, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. Let's get in some front page news. Good morning, Morgan.
Good morning. Good morning. I was going to say maybe he skipped out because we got that word that the Cowboys quarterback is out for the rest of the season. Is that why Charlamagne's not here today?
Man. Nah, the Cowboys weren't going to win anyway, so it is what it is.
We got that word about Dak being out for the rest of the season, though. Okay, good morning, y'all. Good morning, NV, Jess. How y'all feeling?
Hey, girl, we good.
Good. Okay, so let's get into it. President Biden will host President-elect Trump at the White House today. The two are set to meet in the Oval Office at 11 a.m. Eastern. Trump's team said he is looking forward to the meeting. The ritual did not take place, however, at the 2020 election when Trump was claiming election fraud. Now, White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre, she says the meeting is important to President Biden. Let's hear more from the Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre.
He believes in the norms. He believes in our institution. He believes in a peaceful transfer of power. The American people made this their decision on this election, and it is important to him. It is important not just because it's important to him, but it's important to the American people.
So this comes, of course, as President-elect Trump is expected to take office as the nation's 47th president on January 20th after being the 45th president. Go ahead.
Let me ask you guys, after somebody slammed you in the media for years, talk so disrespectful about you and your age and you have this and you have that, could you just meet with him and say, here's some peaceful you didn't even want to meet with me the last time. Now, could you just meet with somebody, or is it like, look, you don't F with me, I don't F with you, January 26th is your date, you pull up, I'm going to pull out.
I would not want to meet with that person, but Biden probably forgot.
Oh, you're right.
You know, he probably don't even know.
You're right. Touche.
I was gonna say I do think that he believes, and it's been his stance all along. It's what is he saying? Basically, the American people over the party. So if that's the case, then hey, that's what you got. Meanwhile, as if we didn't see this coming, a federal judge is striking down a Biden immigration program that kept undocumented spouses and American citizens from being deported. The Biden administration started a policy in August that called Keeping Families Together, which allowed hundreds of thousands of undocumented spouses to work legally in the U.S. while they sought citizenship because, of course, they're married to a U.S. citizen. Now, on Thursday, a Trump-appointed judge in Texas, he struck down that program and said Congress had not given the executive branch the authority to implement such a policy. Look, not only, like they said, Holman said, just deport the whole family, even if you are a U.S. citizen, I guess. So, manage your expectations, people. Recently elected U.S. senators are officially arriving on Capitol Hill this week for orientation. Among them is Pennsylvania Republican Dave McCormick, who said he's excited, while Democratic Senator-elect Andy Kim says his constituents in New Jersey want something done about the high cost of living. Let's hear from newly elected Senators Dave McCormick and Andy Kim.
I'm excited to be here. I'm glad that I've been invited to the orientation, and excited to get to work for bringing about the change that the people of our great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania have demanded, and excited to get to work.
I know that was a big part of it, just feeling like, government right now is not tackling things in any meaningful way, in terms of their day-to-day living.
Yes, this is important to note because I believe NBC News has still not yet called Pennsylvania for the Senate race, and McCormick's opponent, Bob Casey, has yet to concede. Now, McCormick was invited to attend the orientation by Democratic Senate leader Chuck Schumer. Among others arriving yesterday, Democratic Senator-elect Andy Kim, of course, from New Jersey, Senator-elect Jim Justice, a Republican from West Virginia. Meanwhile, Senate Republicans are voting today to select their new leader. Kentucky Senator Mitch McConnell is stepping down, and three contenders are vying for the job. South Dakota's John Thune, Texas' John Cornyn, and Florida's Rick Scott are all looking to become the party's leader in the upper chamber. Congress just returned to Capitol Hill yesterday after a month-long recess again. And in case you missed it, the family, completely unrelated to politics, but the family of Tyre Nichols is continuing their legal battle against the city of Memphis. Nichols' mother, Rowan Wells, is expected to appear in court court yesterday after her son was beaten to death by several former city police officers during a traffic stop back in January of last year. Now, national civil rights attorney Ben Crump, who is representing the family, says the focus of the $550 million lawsuit against the city is to get rid of so-called police oppression units like the one the now former officers were a part of. Now, the trial for the case is scheduled to begin on January 27th, exactly 2 years since Memphis leaders released the video of Nichols' beating. And we'll get into what's going on in the transition, the official transition of power at 7 a.m. with President-elect Trump. And there's some other stories locally that we'll touch on in New York and New Jersey. That's your front page news for 6 a.m. Stick around at 7 a.m. for more.
Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Jess Hilarious, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. Let's get in some front page news. Good morning, Morgan.
Good morning. Good morning. Let's get into it. So, a New York judge is delaying Trump's presidential immunity. A New York judge is delaying his presidential immunity ruling in President-elect Trump's hush money case. Now, court records show Judge Juan Merchan has agreed to freeze the case until next week while prosecutors decide what to do now that Trump will be the next commander-in-chief. Now, Merchan said he will be deciding whether the case should be tossed after the Supreme Court ruled Trump had some immunity. Now, Trump was set to be sentenced on November 26th for his felony conviction connected to payments made to adult film actress Stormy Daniels. Now, keep in mind, Trump is also continuing to build his administration, select members for his cabinet. He says billionaire Elon Musk and former presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy will head the new Department of Government Efficiency. Now, Trump claims the two will pave the way for the administration to dismantle government bureaucracy and restructure federal agencies. Remember, he was saying that he doesn't want the DOE, Department of Education. He wants to dismantle so those type of federal agencies. Musk, who is the CEO of Tesla and the social media platform X, says this will send shockwaves through the system and anyone involved in government waste. Trump says their work will conclude no later than July 4th of 2026. So they have a 2-year plan, or essentially a year and a half plan. Sheesh. Wait.
So he's putting Elon Musk as a person to cut, I guess, spending from the government?
Essentially, yes, government efficiency. So however the government is being run. So, for example, talking about those restructuring certain federal agencies. So if Trump decides that Department of Justice is not viable for him, he may restructure it or he may try to eliminate it altogether.
Jesus Christ.
And Musk and Ramaswamy are going to be heading those efforts.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so elected officials across New York are being tapped to join President-elect Donald Trump's administration. New York Governor Democrat Kathy Hochul is reacting to Trump after they asked upstate New York Congresswoman Elise Stefanik and former Long Island Congressman Lee Zeldin to join his cabinet. Now, Hochul says New Yorkers are familiar with the pair, and she hopes Zeldin, a Long Island resident, will recognize climate change. Let's hear from New York Governor Kathy Hochul.
Certainly, these are not individuals I would have picked in an administration, but Donald Trump won the election. It's his prerogative to select who he chooses, and certainly there are individuals that are well known to New York State. Hopefully, they'll look out for us in their positions, and the EPA is a very important position to the residents of all across the state, but particularly Long Island, especially since Long Island had a 1,000-year flooding event not long ago. Hopefully these are all factors that the new head of EPA will know what was happening in his backyard and to try to help solve problems, not create more.
Yeah, so Stefanik will serve as the U.S. ambassador to the UN, while Zeldin will head up the Environmental Protection Agency. So at least we know that those federal agencies are, will be within standing. Meanwhile, New York City Mayor Eric Adams, he's responding to President-elect Trump's mass deportation plan. Now, Adams says he doesn't support any plan for mass deportations, calling the idea inhumane. He went on to say he is a supporter of a secure border and making sure anyone who is undocumented in the country has a pathway to employment. Let's hear more from Mayor Eric Adams.
all the conversations that we're hearing right now, I say let's tone down those conversations and come up with real solutions to fix our immigration problem. We're going to do everything possible to make sure that people are treated in a dignity and humane way that we've done for these last few years. When you come into this country, you should be told, here's where you're going for 3 years, and here are the services you're going to provide there during that time. And after 3 years, move around the country where you want to go. But now you're providing a service to the country.
Yeah, so the comments, of course, come after President-elect Trump named Tom Homan as the border czar in his upcoming administration. And he said day one, they're going to be working to have these mass deportations, especially in sanctuary cities. And New York is that, a sanctuary city. And when asked by a reporter about the election outcome, Adams said he blamed it on a far left agenda as to why Democrats lost the election, although he did not elaborate. Now, remember Tony Hinchcliffe, the comedian who had the garbage island Puerto Rican joke?
Yep.
Well, he isn't necessarily apologizing for his joke, but he does admit that the venue may have not been the right place for his humor. Now, the comedian called Puerto Rico a floating island of garbage at the October 27th rally. And in his latest Kill Tony podcast recorded recently, in that episode, he said he apologizes to absolutely nobody and said he was exercising his right to free speech. Sheesh.
What do you feel about that as a comedian, though, Jess? Like, you know, when a comedian just goes that left, he's like, I'm not apologizing, but it just seemed like some of that wasn't funny.
Yeah, no, hell no. And then as a comedian, if you travel, you don't ever expect to have a show in that place. Like, you know, I mean, you limit yourself when you do things like that.
He's definitely not going to Puerto Rico for a show.
You can't go.
No,
it's no
not.
way.
Mm-mm.
So, no, I don't agree with that. Some things are just not funny. You just can't touch certain things like that.
Right.
And it's obvious.
And elsewhere, in other local news out of Wayne, New Jersey, a teacher's aide is facing child abuse charges after a 19-year-old Megan Hornage allegedly slammed and dragged a 2-year-old at the Apple Montessori School back on August 12th, a 2-year-old. Sheesh. Now, the CEO of Apple Montessori Schools, Andrea Vargas, says we are aware and have been cooperating with investigations since day one. She adds that we maintain rigorous hiring standards and checks for our employees, and the safety of the children in our care continues to be a top priority. Now, Hornage, if convicted, she faces fourth-degree abuse of a child that carries a maximum sentence of 18 years in prison. Now, you were telling me off air that this story hits close to home to you, Envy?
Yeah, now, when I seen this story this morning, it hit very close to home because, you know, I have 6 kids, and Madison, Logan, London, Jackson, and Brooklyn all went to that school, went to that Apple Montessori. And that, you know, we do hear sometimes where a teacher will grab a student or a teacher will say something to the students that's not right, but you got to look at it like this. That's a 2-year-old.
Yeah.
My baby Peyton right now is 2, about to be 3. And if I looked on that camera, because you know, Apple Montessori has cameras where you can actually observe the classes and things like that. But if I looked on that camera and seen that teacher's aide drag my 2-year-old, slam my 2-year-old, how am I not as a dad, or how is my wife not as a mom not going to be able to put hands on that person, on that teacher's aide? You know what I mean? Yeah. So when I see things like that, and Apple Montessori is expensive. Like, it's not cheap. Like, it's expensive. So, you know, yeah, it's right. They got to do a better situation of getting these teacher aides and teachers. Now, I know that the young girl was 19. Maybe 19 is not an age where you should be dealing with 2-year-olds and 3-year-olds, because 2-year-olds, I was just telling Jess behind the scenes, my 2-year-old is one of those 2-year-olds. If I would have had her first, she'd probably be the only child I have. Like, she is that COVID baby. Yeah. But, you know, sometimes trying to deal with that at a young age is not right. But how do you not, as a parent, want to put hands and feet on that person?
That's
you know?
Yeah, and in this case, I don't know. I'm a mom, so it seems completely justified to me.
You know what I mean?
So
honestly.
I'm not the one to sit here and take the high road on that one. I'm definitely going to ride for mine.
Absolutely.
And that's your front page news, okay?
All right.
I'm Morgan Wood. Follow me on social at Morgan Media. And for more news coverage, of course, follow at Black Information Network. Download the free iHeartRadio app and visit us at BINnews.com. Happy Hump Day.
All right. Thank you, Morgan.
Wake that ass up. Early in the morning. The Breakfast Club.